It's been a while since I've done a video, a few months as a matter of fact, and the reason for that, the main reason, is the fact that for 2.5 of the last few months I've been actually out of the country in the Philippines. When I travel, and I travel frequently, one of the things that I really like to do is to observe the local culture and sort of juxtapose it with the one that I come from, the middle-class white North American culture. Actually, I was raised in the working class, but right now I live in the suburbs and I own my own house and live basically the suburban life. And that has a sort of a zeitgeist all of its own, way of looking at things. And I like to compare and contrast that with other cultures. Now in the Philippines, I've stated in a previous video that they tend to be one of the most easygoing people on races of people on Earth. They have plenty of faults, but being fundamentally angry and frustrated with the world is definitely not one of them. Although I have noted, and I've stated this in previous videos, that I find the white suburbanite to be one of the more angry and frustrated people in the world. And I often wonder why this is the case, or what can be done about it, or sometimes I even wonder whether or not I'm actually correct in my estimation of the anger that tends to dominate the white man. Man. Now, there's a lot of people out there you see on the internet, on television, in the op-ed pages of the newspaper, and radio call-in shows, with an axe to grind about whatever issue it is. Pretty frustrated and angry, essentially about the modern world and this perception that things are going bad. Well, first of all, I don't believe things are going bad relative to the past, or I would like to challenge anyone to prove to me or to show me why they believe that, why things are worse now than they were in the past, and show me an age when things were better. Secondly, I wonder how useful this rage really is. In my previous video, I said that I actually believe that the angry white male is a failure as a human being. I still believe that. And I would say that it's that kind of failure I would put on several levels. First of all, if you allow yourself to be dominated by anger or frustration with the world, you're poisoning your own life. You're doing this to yourself. Because one sees in other cultures that there are better and healthier ways to deal with life's frustrations. Again, for example, the Filipino, when he meets a frustration along the way, not always, but generally, the reaction is to laugh. You know, a flat tire, or some sort of irritation in his life, like, oh, screwed again. That's the attitude. Whereas, traffic isn't going the way that we like it, driving in from the burbs to the center of the city to go to work every day, and we arrive at work all angry and frustrated with everything. Now that, to me, it shows that that's a personal choice. We seek out this anger, this frustration, and one wonders why we do it as a culture. Generally what people like to do is set themselves up as a frustrated idealist. I'm just trying to get through the day, but all these external things are driving me crazy. That's just modern life. There are so many things to frustrate you, so many people trying to tell you things you don't want to hear, get you to do things you don't want to do, prevent you from doing things you do want to do, put their hand in your pocket, manipulate you. There's just so many things coming at you at once. Of course you're going to get angry. Well, the problem is, things have always been that way. Businessmen have always been corrupt. Politicians have always been sneaky and duplicitous. Human beings have always been two-faced and backstabbing. Strangers have always been inconsiderate of other strangers. That's just part of the human condition. So why do we allow these things to surprise us every time that we step outside of our front door? Why is it that every time we turn the TV on and hear somebody that we don't agree with, it makes us angry? We allow this external stimulus to make our heart beat faster, to make a vein bulge on our forehead, our face turn red. Maybe we lose control of our tongue, or in extreme cases we might even be provoked to physical manifestations of anger, rage, shouting, possibly, I suppose, even violence. In cases of road rage, you see people getting into fist fights over minor issues, really, silly things. So I think that because I've seen with my own eyes cultures where this is not the normal way of dealing with life's frustrations, flying into a fury, allowing yourself to be surprised by the imperfections of the world. I think that it actually is a personal choice of our culture. We like to think that we're being screwed. We like to think that they are out to get us, that they have their hand in our pocket, etc. But that's not the only way of seeing the world. Now, what do I care if the other guy is angry all the time? What difference does it make to me? Well, not much, really, I suppose, because I can just ignore it all, or, feel my usual smug sense of superiority over somebody who's angry. Fine, that's just two individuals coping with the world around them. But we've now got things like the internet, mass communications, where if you publish an offensive cartoon in Denmark, it creates riots on the other side of the world. Somebody knocks down a building in New York City in a horrible attack, 9/11, but it has repercussions which, when you think about it, may have been out of all proportion with the horror of what actually took place. If we didn't have the mass media, I wonder if it would have had the effect that it has had on us. If we didn't have constant images where we can actually replay it in our own minds or with our own eyes and experience it again and again, and if we just only read about it in the newspapers and had a few photographs, I wonder if it would have had the same impact. And I'm not downplaying the horror of 9/11, or I'm not telling a Muslim not to be offended by the Danish cartoons. But what I'm saying is the stimuli are getting, if anything, more and more intense. They're coming at us all the time, and if anything, they're increasing in their frequency and in their availability. This is all happening in tandem with a rapid increase in human technology, and in particular weapons technology. It won't be long before any country that wants one will have a large arsenal of weapons of mass destruction. And the next time that, maybe 50 years from now, someone publishes a few cartoons that people don't like, the response will be a lot nastier than a few riots. I think that anger is as old a vice as humanity is. But I think that because of the external things that are changing in the world, it's more likely to have a very, very dangerous effect on us all. Wouldn't it be stupid if we ended up obliterating ourselves at the very moment in human history where materially people are a lot more secure and better off than they've ever been? Because we are better off physically, materially, than we've ever been as a race. So, it's not just a case of not allowing anger to destroy your own life, which it will if you let it, but it's also a case, at least in my opinion, of destroying anger before it destroys us. Thank you.